the equinox is actually this afternoon. And on East Coast time, it's 4:44. Yeah. And we were talking about it yesterday. Marissa was telling me that in Chinese, 4 is si, si, se. Se, yeah, si it is, se. Which means death. And if you think about it, we're going to have our equinox at 144. If you add those up, it's 9, the end of a cycle. There's a birth and a rebirth happening simultaneously. For some, it's going to be a rebirth. For some of us, it's going to be a resurrection. Subtle difference. Very powerful, though. Some of us are being asked to take a step out of our old identification and be reborn into a new and vaster sense of self. Some of us, and that's rebirth. Some of us have been burnt to a crisp this summer in the flames and the fires of purification. Am I the only one?
Yeah, you're the only one.
I'm the only one. Thanks, Lynn. And this is resurrection, the phoenix from the ashes. It's more than a rebirth. It is passing an initiation. Death is an initiation, and after that comes resurrection. We resurrect ourselves to the next level of being. These are really important times. This is a very sacred day. And that's why the ancients always honored the equinoxes and the solstices. It is a day of change. As I mentioned earlier, summer's gone for us in the northern hemisphere. Gone, done. One more summer. Didn't it go fast? And we're changing now into, we're being asked to, all of this summer, all of this year, all of the years going by has been a purification process to get us to choose love over anger and trust over fear and so on and so forth, right? Why? Because what we're going to be seeing now, right, this weekend is really a pivotal weekend. By the way, anybody feel that full moon on Friday? And I don't mean see it because there was a lot of, but oh my goodness, didn't it bring emotions, feelings up to the surface? And there wasn't just one. It was bring it up, clear, cover it, got it, there I got it. Bring another one up, clear, you know. Different people bringing up different opportunities for us to see. It wasn't for us, you know. Sometimes the Holy One's place, and I mean our teachers, our masters, whatever you want to call it, they put situations right in front of us. Not karmic, necessarily. It's, let's see if you've learned the lesson. Because we, each one of us here, the Holy Ones really want to give us a little more responsibility for carrying the banner of peace and love and maturity, spiritual maturity. Who's going to birth the new day? So they're saying, well, who's ready? So we've been going through this process this summer, and this full moon that was here on Friday and this weekend had the power of it, because it lasts about 3 days, is giving us a chance and them a chance to see, can we stay steady? Can we endure? Can we keep our focus on the highest, or will we default to an egoic, smaller response? And if we do default to the smaller response, how soon can we recognize it and take a bigger one, a greater one? And it's sort of like, it will be about vibration. You know, I wasn't here last Sunday. Some of you might have noticed there was only one chair and one person up here. And the reason was that my sister Flossie and I went to New Jersey. My mother, it was finally time to pick her up and pack her up and move her out here so we could take care of her. And she had experienced one of those, I forget they're called TSAs or something, where they're like mental strokes. TIA, thank you. And that causes, each time you have it, it causes a little bit of dementia, right? A little more dementia. So she was coming in and out of remembering. So sometimes she remembered that she wanted to come out, and sometimes she remembered that she wanted to stay where she was. And there was a little bit of a drama going on right before then, of course, because it was just what Flossie and I needed. And so we just made up our mind that we were going to hold a very strong vibration. That we were going to hold the vibration, that we were really excited. We were holding the vision of her new life. And that, once in a while, especially Flossie would say, oh, what are we going into? And I'd say, it's okay. Anyway, we went in, we held this vibration. She completely entrained to it. The days of packing her up and getting her on she was an angel. And we kept saying, Mom, you're doing so well. She didn't lament, her and my dad were really close. He died 3 years ago. And that was part of, she just never came out of the depression of losing her life partner. Because he brought, they had so much joy together. She didn't look back. And we brought her out, and she didn't complain once. All she kept saying is, look at all these people helping us. Look what you've done for me. She walked in this apartment. She told me the other day, I didn't realize it. First time in her entire 83 years that she's living alone. Alone. And I thought, after that statement, I thought there was going to be a little whine in there. And she goes, I think I like it. And she walked through the door. We had a little barbecue for her last night. A little family got together to officially welcome her. And she walked in the door and didn't even say hello. She said, she just stopped the family and she said, I just want to thank you for your patience and for all that you've done for me. I just want to thank you. And then she said hello to everyone. Now, all we had to do was hold that space for her. She was ready. She entrained to it. And then all the goodness and all the work that she's done her whole life has kept her up there. And I can't imagine where she's going to go in these last months, years of her life. Her potential spiritually is amazing, and she's inspiring each and every one of us. From being a burden to being our matriarch and someone that we're looking to now to show us how to behave. And that's the power of vibration. And I was playing with with our 5-year-old granddaughter, Taylor, the other day. In our house, we don't have a lot of toys and such. But Taylor and I, when she comes over, we use our imagination. So I had this, she said, what do you want to play, Nani? And I said, let's pretend, because I was thinking of what's the wardrobe, the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, So I said, let's pretend we go in to another dimension through this, and she goes, let's use the shower. Because we have a walk-in shower. Said, brilliant. We ran to the bathroom and I said, okay, we're going to go in the shower and we're going to go through a time machine, and then when we come out, it's going to be totally different. Just, because it's just so much fun. It's so good for me to play and use my imagination, and she's ready to teach me. So she's the first one in the shower. We went in, she closed the door. We closed the door, we said some kind of magic words, we opened it up, and I said, look, Taylor, it looks the same, but the vibration's different. And she said, I said, we're in the 5th dimension. Now she's 5. She probably thinks, okay, everybody in there's 5 or something, so 5th dimension. And she goes, yeah, look, now we can see the unicorns and the butterflies. And I said, it's true. It's the same house in a higher dimension. Now it's magical. So we said, so then we got the idea of let's go through the house and see what it looks like in the 5th dimension. So we went room to room to see which magical character lived there and what they were going to give us and how we could play with them. And then the rest of the family came over.
Well, then I walked in the door. Back to 3D.
We went to hide.
There's Baldy. There he is. Right? Yeah.
But you
have the football, game on.
But those of you who saw Celestine Prophecies, remember they turned a really great book into a mediocre movie. However, there was a scene in there where these 5D people were being trained to live in a higher consciousness were being pursued. And when they were in their greater state of faith and trust, they couldn't be seen. So the pursuers had machine guns and all this sort of thing. And they came in and the bad guys were looking for them and they were standing right there. They couldn't see them. But all of a sudden, I think one of them got fear-based. And because of their fear-based, they became denser and then they could be seen. And that's basically what we're moving into this weekend, staying out of fear. And because we can stay in the higher dimension that way. This is what our training is about. If you introspect about your summer and even about your spring, it was about where each one of us was stimulated on our weak spot. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Some people were afraid of other people or situations outside of yourself. Some of us were afraid of ourselves and our own true soulic power. And we got to prove, anybody in the room get a situation where your intuition over and over and over and over again was telling you something that everybody else was seeing? And then all of a sudden and you were doubting yourself and you said, geez, am I that off, And, well, okay, well, I'll just hold space, maybe I'm wrong, or, and then finally things shifted and you realized, dang, I was right. I can trust my intuition, I can trust my inner power, it is the voice of God. I can trust myself. And some of us have been going through a challenging time in relationships, in business, and that sort of thing. To learn to trust one another, because if you dig really deep, you can find a better and bigger and higher vibrational part of yourself. It's just beautiful. And when we say love yourself, don't ever for a moment think embrace your personality. The personality has to be trained, and that's what yoga's about. And the self has to be trained. The self has to be trained to be trusted. So I found this really great. I want to share with you. I shared it Friday night. 2 closing thoughts on my end. Because I believe, I don't know when this was said, but I really do feel in my own experience of life that this is where we're going to. It's from Abraham through Esther Hicks. Hard work is not the path to well-being. Feeling good is the path to well-being. You don't create through actions. You create through vibration. And then your vibration calls action from you. Do you see? It really is the law of attraction. I know a lot of us have been working really hard, right? Because time is collapsing and we have less of a day to get our things done. And so we're thinking we have to work on it now. No. Now we're learning that we raise our vibration, and that vibration creates and draws to us and pulls forward the next step, pulls forward our intuition. And last thing too, talking about TV, so on the way back, on the plane back, some of you on Friday night heard this, but Flossie and I were really inspired by this movie called After Earth. It's Will Smith and his son. And I think Will Smith was the creator of the idea of the story, and apparently it didn't get very good reviews, but I'll tell you what, to the yogis, it's a must watch. Because it's got so many symbology about the father talking the son through his fears. Right? The higher self talking the child through his fears. And it was the same premise, is that Earth had been taken over by these monsters that could eat humans, but they realized, the humans, and his father was the first one to find out, that if you had no fear, you were completely invisible to this monster. And so the father was disabled, had to send his son out. And this was to be able, and that's part of the story, to help them get rescued from Earth, which is interesting because we need to get rescued from this 3D, from this lower vibration. So the father said to the son, fear is not real. It is a byproduct of the thoughts you create. Do not misunderstand me, he said. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice.
She's good, isn't she? Welcome back, baby.
Did you miss me?
Missed you last week.
I know. I heard about him last week. I got texts and emails and yeah.
Just give me 20 more minutes and I'm in big trouble. But aren't we though? Aren't we all a piece of work? I mean, really seriously. Like, I don't think I'm alone here. We are all an absolute piece of work. And that little song we sang in the beginning, if you want to know the secret of just dealing with this piece of work that you are, and knowing that if you allow and let and open up and listen a little more, it takes a while, all that, it really does, that there's a masterpiece in each of us. And the key is that if we just open up our hearts to God, right? If we just make God more of a summertime friend in our life, then this fall and winter comes, there, he or she, or it is. And that's the key, right there. You don't have to perfect yourself overnight. It's not going to happen. You don't have to, be better, what you think is better overnight either. Just love. Just make it more and more of a priority in your life. When I went into the ashram, early on, my mentor, teacher, Brother Prema Moy, right in the get-go, he looked at me and he said, wow, Divine Mother just whispered in my ears that I'm going to need to put on my kid gloves with you. That's exactly his words. My mentor, teacher for 17 years in the ashram, said Divine Mother whispered in his ears when he saw me as a new monk in 1974, right over there on 101. He said, Divine Mother whispered in my ear, put on your kid gloves. This kid is really sensitive. And what that represents with other monks, why he was such a great friend and mentor was that he didn't treat everyone like that. He treated each soul uniquely. Some needed kid gloves, some didn't. Some needed more discipline, some got their discipline by not getting discipline. So what I'm saying is that Divine Mother, if you give her a shot, if you give love a chance, right, she will deal with you as a piece of work in a way that you can handle it. Even though it seems like, you got toasted this summer, or it seems like everything is stacked up against you. You have to trust Divine Mother that what you could be getting is a lot worse. And that she is giving you or taking away from you or putting people in your life or taking people out of your life because it's your perfect training. And she's dealing with you in a way that is the most love and consideration that we still are attached to our personalities. And we're still attached to our ego. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, if you're going to kind of redo your idea of what Source is and your relationship with Source, isn't that a nice way to maybe upgrade, if you haven't lately, your relationship with Source, and that Source isn't out to really make your life difficult, right? But to just almost give you what you need, even personality-wise, until you're ready to overcome that personality. You know what I mean? It understands you. And it gets you. The reason why I say that, because if we go home and we want to have a new vision and walk into our showers and just play 5D in our showers or wherever in your house, just to get a different vantage point, right? Just to have a new look around. That's beautiful. That's just a great story. They do. I come home and they are just like in La La Land. But that's probably the real land, right? Is to get another, just a new vantage point with your familiar surroundings. And And what that may represent is just a little visit into your best side, your higher self, and just to acknowledge that, wow, maybe everything and everyone in my life is exactly perfect. Now, you know, as Rumi said, everyone is a guide from above. Everyone is being sent as a messenger from God in your life. Everybody. Everything. So you can consider that across the board. Everybody is a guide from beyond to help you, to help yourself, to help you, to not look at people and things as flawed information coming in because they don't get me, but as flawless information coming in. Everybody. Because from the 5D new vantage point of looking around familiar things and with familiar people, which I hope it's never too familiar, because it breeds contempt, right? You've heard that saying? Mm-hmm. Familiarity breeds contempt. Because the human mind likes to just pigeonhole yourself or that person in this limited idea. So by taking on a new look around, you're going to see from the 5D, OMG. What I thought was coming as criticism, what I thought as someone who's maybe, you know, making me feel small, or, you know, making, whatever are those funny things the mind has you convinced of, is really Divine Mother saying, could you please take a look inside yourself in the fall of your life? Take a little more time to introspect, because there's a little blemish there. I mean, I don't see it, Divine Mother says, because, you know, she's horrible at arithmetic. She can't add. She never adds up your mistakes. And she's as blind as a bat, meaning she can't see your limitations. She can't, but you do. And others, when they're not in a higher 5D consciousness, do, and pretty soon we're all believing in all this stuff that is not the changeless, perfect, unbelievably gorgeous you. But from that higher vantage point, you realize that that thing that you don't like, that gets you every single time, it seems, you know. And sometimes it carries on for years. If you're an astrologer, you might say that certain planets are retrograde. And they're not just retrograde for a few years, but they may be for like 40 years, right? And it just seems like this pattern doesn't go away. It keeps repeating itself. Because you planned that retrograde in a previous life, because somehow we're so stubborn that we needed a long session with whatever those energies are to finally say, all right, already, maybe it's not you after all. Maybe it's something in me. A little blemish, a little attachment, or big attachment, or a mindset. Or we all love to say, I'm a fire sign, this is the way I am. Right? Or else I'm an air sign, I just never can decide what to do, you know? And so we put the blame on the planets. No, the planets you create your astrology. But man, imagine though today, imagine this time on the equinox. This is a bigger and bigger day. We always bring up, Trish does the astrology, how important. Really to say how important is each day and each minute. But today is really, really important to just play that game with yourself, that little childlike game, and see if you can just go to another place within you, which, you know, that falling and retreating into yourself. Yogananda said seclusion is the price of greatness, you know. Seclusion is the price of greatness. Yeah, I have a saying, to move forward, be still. And if you want to really know about a modern day person that talks about stillness, just reread some of your Eckhart Tolle, right? Because he just talks over and over and over again. Forms are changing. Don't focus on the forms. Everything's changing in this world around you, including yourself in this form. And what changes most within us if you really give it a thought? A thought. Thoughts. Even though they might be repetitive, they're always changing. They're always giving you a little different variance so you don't realize, oh my God, I am stuck in my thought. So it always comes in a little, but it's the same pattern. It's the same vibration, maybe low vibration, right? So we have a chance now to, from a higher perspective, just look within and say, you know what, this one particular thing that everyone is hinting at, your close people, they know. They know. And the greatest gift that we can give to humanity starts with making a little change within ourselves. And take time now to go into your introspection, not with the purpose of finding your blemishes. You promise? Not with God, what's wrong with me? And then try to figure it out with your minds. Please promise me.
You don't have to, right? Just live life, and life will show you where
Totally
you got
true. But still, we ruminate on that stuff. Go into your meditation with one objective, and that is to love, 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 love back. Love, love in the guise of all the agents of God that are your friends, and maybe even more, quite frankly, the ones that you don't think are your friends, that you are still with this flaw of resentment or whatever around it. That's probably your best friend. When you realize that, when you can bring in the light and be loved in that part of your psyche or wherever that blemish is, you'll realize, oh my God, thank you, Divine Mother, for putting this person in my life. Thank you. Thank you. St. Bernard, of course you don't. St. Bernard.
The dog?
Not the dog. The Saint Bernard. He said around monasteries, but this would apply, don't get me wrong, monasteries and households, there's the same training going on, if you guys are willing to receive it. If there was ever a monastery that didn't have somebody that just pushed everybody's butt, it would be worth a person's weight in gold to go find that person and bring him in. So we like to hang out, I know I just have a fabulous time with Aries or any kind of fire sign, because we're going, yeah, 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 oh yeah, oh yeah. And then you get another perspective from water or air or earth sign, and they're saying, there's another way to look at it. You go, oh no, there isn't. No, this is truly, truly the right way. We need to have the balance of those agents from God that may look at things a little different in life. And here's how I'm going to end up this morning. Because 5D is all about team, dream, team. It's all about collaboration, right? It's all about, everybody feeling accountable and doing something with a little more meditation on love and not the blemishes. Yogananda said, I have many flaws, but I love Source more than those flaws. So we need to go into meditation and be loving more than we're thinking about anything else. Because a wandering mind is a flaw. Because your true nature is laser. It's a laser beam. But here's my final closing remarks. Now that you're in 5D, you've played your little game, you went into the shower or whatever, and you have a new vantage point, and you realize really that these people in your life, every single one of them, whether you're working with them or you're living with them, whether they're cousins or relatives or anyone else, associates at work or bosses at work, everyone from the 5D perspective is and can be a part of your dream team. Rather than, maybe, and I'm going to associate with those that think like me. They can be a part of your dream team, and this is why. Because if you shift the way you look at them, they will change. And if you realize that everything is perfect as is, meaning that behind us all as agents or guides of God is God herself. In us all is God herself. Then amazing things can happen on our planet. Amazing things. It's called collaboration. It's called that now we as a team, as a group of people, as a family, as a couple, can now just kind of transcend all the things that are the blemishes, more or less, and come in and just be grateful for what someone says, the little hints they do, for their constant, cleaning up. All these things now we can so appreciate and now get on the same page, because the divine needs people on the same page. You know what I mean? Or should I say souls on the same page? They've been waiting in cycles, these big cycles of the evolution of humanity, golden age and back to a dark age. We're just coming out of dark ages, really. So we still have a ways to go. And so more than ever does the divine ones need collaboration amongst us from the 5D perspective, because they have really good work for us to do. And that really good work can be exponential on the planet when you and I are able to come together and totally disagree. Totally disagree. Almost have our buttons pushed. And then just totally know how perfect that is, because there will be a meeting place, as Rumi said. Beyond right and wrong, there is a field. Come and join me there. In our collaborations now, that's how groups are going to be meeting more and more. In that field, beyond the Aries and the Cancers and the Capricorns and the Leos or whatever, there is a field where there is attunement to a divine plan that is so beautiful and makes you so happy. Trust me, I know we got our stuff, but this other higher part of ourselves makes you so happy. And it makes other people happy. And when more and more people get happy, then the world just talk about a vibration that lifts our planet. That is it. So, 5D perspective, everybody. See everyone as giving you the best gift they could possibly give you and just who they are. Don't try to change them. Go within in the fall and even more in the winter. And just bring in more love and light till those blemishes disappear, because they can't live in the light. They don't even exist in the light. And then see how you can now collaborate. I mean, really collaborate. If it means letting go of your ideas, let go of your ideas and find the common higher one that everyone can say yes, yes, yes across the board. All the different personalities and all the different signs, just saying yes, yes. Then you have true magic on the planet. And one more thing, I don't know who your astrologer is, if you use one, or but you're probably hearing this same thing from people who are mentoring you. And that is, don't be attached to the form of anything. Don't be attached to the form. Even let the idea of how you think something should go. Meet in the field and just watch how beautiful is the form that Source wants you to flow in and around. I love you all so much. Guides from God. Thank you for being in my life.